Moment of gratitude here. Whew. For the strength that we're building, the discipline, both on and off the mat.
Hello, all my relatives, and welcome to 7 Teachings Yoga. This is a space to practice yoga from an Indigenous worldview, inspired by the Anishinaabe 7 sacred grandfather teachings. Let's practice together.
My name is Shayna Thomas, and I'm an Indigenous yoga instructor and wellness educator who is passionate about sharing tools that have really helped me on my own wellness journey. One of my favorite tools is movement medicine. Now, when we think about yoga, we might think about the physical practice, but it's important to remember that yoga at its core, at its essence, is a self-realization practice. It's a practice of life that extends far beyond our mat. Let's practice together and find some movement medicine. We're going to start seated, crisscross applesauce, or any other comfortable position here. Inhale, bring the shoulders up, back. Exhale, let them fall down. Option to place the hands on the knees or the thighs. In breath together, filling up the belly. Exhale all the air out. Inhale, belly goes big. Option to close down the eyes if that feels comfortable. Exhale, belly goes hard. Feeling the breath here. Durga Pranayama, 3-part breath. Inhale, in through the nose, belly expands. Ribs grow outward. Chest lifts. As you exhale, release from the chest, ribs. Lastly, the belly goes hard. Inhale, belly big. Ribs. Chest lifts. As you exhale, release from the chest, ribs. Belly goes hard. Let your breath find its natural rhythm, flowing in and out like gentle waves. Maybe placing the hands on the body, a moment of gratitude for showing up on your mat today. Thank you, self. Remembering that we are all connected, so when I care for myself, I care for all relations, and vice versa. Relax the jaw, relax the temples, relax the brows. A couple more breaths here on your own before we find some movement medicine. On your next inhale, we're going to all meet in tabletop position, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips. Working through 6 directions of the spine. Inhale, arch the spine, gaze up. Exhale, round the spine, gaze towards your belly button. Round at the tailbone. Inhale, arch as we gaze up, finding our cow. As you exhale, finding your cat. Now another option here, working through some spinal waves. As you inhale, starting at the base of the spine, working through the mid-back all the way up through the top till we meet in our cow. As you exhale, round through the tailbone first, mid-spine, upper back, neck. Inhale, arch through the tailbone, mid-back, upper spine, gaze up. As you exhale, round first through the tailbone, mid-back. Push hands into the mat, lastly the neck. A couple more rotations or cycles on your own. From here, find a neutral spine. Inhale, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, gaze over the right shoulder. As we gaze towards that right foot, we're going to feel a stretch in the left side body. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, side bend, gazing over now to the left foot. Inhale through center. Exhale to bend. Noticing how when we inhale, we're typically opening up the body. As we exhale, typically closing down the body. Finding neutral spine here. Left hand places under the face. Inhale, right hand towards the sky. Exhale, thread right arm underneath the left. Right shoulder, right side of the head, maybe the right cheek meets the mat. Left hand can stay for support. Can reach towards the sky or back to find a bind. Now, whenever we're finding a bind, the purpose here is to open up the chest. Great job, great adjustments. Couple of breaths here. On your next inhale, plant left hand into the mat. Reach right hand towards the sky. Exhale, plant right hand towards the mat. Inhale, left towards the sky. Exhale, thread left arm underneath right. Left shoulder, left cheek, left side of the head meets the mat. Right arm to support, reach towards the sky, or find a bind. Another note on the breath is our anchor, it's our guide. So if ever we're practicing the asana and we're losing our breath, ease out. We never want to lose the breath for the asana. On your next inhale, plant right hand into the mat. Lift left hand towards the sky. Open up. Exhale, plant hands on the mat. Sit back, placing all of the toes on the mat here, toe screamer. If we have our blocks, we can ease some of that tension by leaning forward. As the name implies, this one can be a little spicy. Option to close down the eyes, controlling the senses, practicing pratyahara, if that feels comfortable. Coming back to the breath. If ujjayi, ocean sounding breath is in your practice, coming back to that breath as our guide. And if it's not in your practice yet, an invitation to practice that ocean sounding breath. A slight nasal constriction or throat constriction, kind of sounding like Darth Vader. I'll see if I can show you. Mouth stays closed. Inhale in through the nose, slight nasal constriction. As if we're fogging up a mirror, but keep the mouth closed. That's a little exaggerated, but ujjayi, ocean sounding, or victorious breath. A breath we could come back to ease the sensations in the asana and to keep us rooted, to keep us mindful and meditative. All right, let's come forward. Place the tops of the feet on the mat. Lean back any amount. We might stop here, feeling a stretch along the ankles, the thighs, the hip flexors. We might lean back so much that the knees might lift. Listening to your body and practicing ahimsa, non-harming, not just of others, but to ourselves as well. Placing hands on blocks or the mat. Inhale, lift the knees. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step right foot forward in between the hands. I like to have the blocks here to lift the floor a bit and allow more space for that step through. Drop back knee. Inhale, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, shift the hips back, half split. Pulling those toes towards the ceiling to increase that stretch. Inhale, low runner's lunge. Option to add a little back bend. Exhale, half split. As we shift those hips back. Option to forward fold here. Move with your breath. Inhale, we open up. Maybe we lift the arms. Exhale, shift back. Couple more here. Coming back to that breath, that ujjayi. Last one, greatest range of motion. As we inhale, come forward, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. Let the head hang nice and heavy. As we're in this down dog, just noticing any differences between the right and the left leg. Not judging, just noticing here. Inhale, step the left foot through in between the hands. Drop back knee. Exhale together. Inhale, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, shift the hips back. Left toes towards the sky. Half split. Inhale, come forward, low runner's lunge. Finding a back bend. Exhale, half split. Option to forward fold here. Inhale, maybe the hands lift. Exhale, fold. Couple more with your own breath, your own movement. We all breathe at different rates, so although I give these breath cues, it's important to let your own breath be your own guide. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, shift the weight forward, plank position. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. And exhale, downward facing dog. A couple more, just like that. Trying to keep a tight, stable core throughout. Last one. On your next inhale, walk, step, or jump to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Option to bend the knees. Inhale, circle sweep, hands above head, come to stand. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Sun salutation. Inhale, circle sweep, hands above head. Exhale, forward fold. Option to bend the knees here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Keep the elbows tucked in tight. Option to drop the knees. Inhale, cobra, or all the way through upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, step right foot to the top of the mat. Lengthen through the crown. Exhale, left foot meets right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep, hands above head, come to stand. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Same thing, opposite side. Inhale, circle sweep, hands above head. Exhale, forward fold, deepest forward fold yet. Inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen through the crown. Exhale, plant the hands. This time, step back with left foot, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, step left foot to the top of the mat. Lengthen through the crown. Exhale, right foot meets left. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep, arms above head, come to stand. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Inhale, reach hands above head, sink the hips back, finding your chair. Now, if you have a block, you can take a block, squeeze it in between those legs, firing up the adductors, the inner thighs. Lift the toes, gently splay them back down. Option to find a toe balance here, yogi's choice. Woo, building heat. Feeling some shakes here. Pushing through a wall, practicing discipline. Woo, exhale, lower down, still listening to our bodies. Inhale, come to stand. Let's lose that block. Ground down through the left foot. Inhale, right knee lifts, right hands lift towards the sky, stork pose. Exhale, step right foot back 2 to 3 feet. Hips stay pointing forward, finding warrior one. Option to keep that back heel lifted, bending into the front leg. Now play around with our stance. We all have different limbs, different proportions. Finding a warrior one variation that works for you. Option to find warrior one arms. Option to find warrior one foot placement. Listen to your body, see what feels good today. Inhale, straighten front leg. Exhale, open up warrior two. Increase that stance, back foot parallel to the short edge of the mat, bending into the front leg. As we find warrior two, we might have a tendency to have that front knee cave inward. Let's work to open that up, which opens up the hip. Hands outstretched in opposite directions, shoulders over hips. Lots of cues here, but finding a variation that feels good in the body here, while still providing a little bit of a spicy challenge. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Right arm reaches up and over. We might reach left hand towards the block, towards the floor, or just simply push it against the leg. Finding your choice here. I like the block today. Couple of breaths here in this extended side angle. In this extended side angle, we might reach that left hand under and find a bind here. Again, the purpose of the bind is to open up the chest. So if we find that this closes off the chest, let's open up the chest by reaching right hand towards the sky. A couple of options here. On your next exhale, plant both hands, step back, downward facing dog. Now let's take that left foot, just shake it out a bit. Built up quite a bit of heat in that left leg. In our down dog, let the head hang nice and heavy. A couple of breaths here. Option to find a child's pose at any time to come back to the breath, our anchor. From here, inhale, right foot any amount. Exhale, step right foot in between the hands. Inhale, come to stand. We're back in that high lunge warrior. Again, hips are pointing forward. Yogi's choice, you might keep the back heel lifted. We might find more of a traditional warrior one. Me, in my body, I like to find the back heel lifted. Option to find warrior one arms, maybe cactusing out the arms, opening up the chest. Yogi's choice here. A couple of breaths here together. Option to sink a little bit more into that leading front leg. Inhale, grow tall, right leg straightens. Exhale, finding warrior two. Open up that stance. Back foot again parallel to the short. And we are bending that front leg. Take a look at that knee. Don't let it cave in. Open up that knee, which opens up the hip. Shoulders stacked over hips, reaching arms in opposite directions. We can take our drishti, our gaze, and look over that leading finger or find a neutral gaze here. Come back to the breath. Feeling the heartbeat racing. Moment of gratitude here. For the strength that we're building, the discipline, both on and off the mat. Inhale, reach that right arm forward. Exhale, extended side angle. Again, we can stay here, push that arm against the leg, find the floor, or find a block. Open up that chest in this extended side angle. Again, if bind is in your practice, option 2, find a bind here to allow us to open up the chest more. Now myself right now where I'm at, this is the option that allows me to open up the chest more, reaching that top left hand towards the sky. Couple of breaths here. You can take the toes, push them into the mat to find a little bit more grounding and stability. On your next exhale, both hands meet the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Again, shaking out that right leg, that right hip. Couple of breaths here. Inhale, step left foot to the top of the mat. Lengthen through the crown. Exhale, right foot meets left. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen through the crown. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep, arms above head, come to stand. Exhale, hands down through heart center. Mountain pose. Inhale in through the nose, belly expands. Exhale, audible sigh out the mouth. Great job. We're going to find a wide-legged forward fold here, but not before we find our goddess. So wide legs, finding a sumo squat here. Toes and knees are going to follow each other. So when we bend down into this goddess squat, our knees are following the toes and vice versa. We're going to take the hands, if we can, place them at prayer. Now we're going to stay here for a couple of breaths, trying a couple different activations. The first one, with your feet still placed on the mat, imagine that you're ripping the mat apart. See what that does to turn on the muscles here. We're going to hold for 3, 2, keep tearing it apart, 1, and relax the muscles. Stay in that garland, or stay in that goddess squat. Option 2, rest the hands. Option to find another activation, lift the heels, try to find a balance on the toes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower down. Great job. Inhale, come to stand. Shift the toes so that they're facing forward. Exhale, forward fold. We might reach for the blocks here. Might reach for ankles. Might take the hands and reach them behind us. A couple of different options here for this wide-legged forward fold. Let the head hang nice and heavy, maybe nodding or shaking it. Micro bend in the knee. Inhale, come to stand. Heel toe the feet in. Exhale, squat down, finding our malasana or our yogi squat here. Now in our malasana, we can find a couple of blocks to sit on, or we can sink right into it. Malasana, we're going to feel that stretch in the low back, in the hips, in the knees, in the ankles. It's a really great stretch that we can be doing every day for the whole body. Now in Malasana, take those elbows in between the knees to help with opening up. Same thing if we're sitting down. Take those elbows in between just to open up the knees, which allows us to open up the hips. Lengthen through the crown. On your next exhale, we are going to meet in boat. So I myself just going to sit back. Now with our boat pose, we have lots of different options. We can keep the toes, the hands on the mat, lift the hands, lift the toes, different variations. Option 2, straighten the legs. There's the shakes. But we're gonna hold here for a couple of breaths. So whatever boat variation is a good challenge for us, getting us out of our comfort zone, allowing us to grow, but also listening to our bodies. A couple more breaths here. One more in-breath together. Exhale, lower down, but keep the feet lifted, the shoulders off the mat, hands reaching towards the sky. Another variation of boat, just holding here for a couple of breaths. On your next exhale, slowly lower down. Ooh, relaxing the body here. With a block or a pillow nearby, we're going to bend the knees, bring the heels towards the sit bones. Inhale, lift the hips, finding a block underneath the sacrum or a pillow. Now with our blocks, we can use them on any settings. We have the small setting, the medium, or the high. Now I'm not looking for a big back bend right now, so I'm gonna go with my medium setting. On block underneath the sacrum, allowing the body to fully rest here. If there's any discomfort, finding a lower setting on the block. Option to close down the eyes if that feels comfortable. We're done the portion of heat building. Now it's time to rest and relax in these restorative asanas. In this next bit, option to keep the eyes closed, coming inward to the wisdom of the self, that creator energy within, and that we all have access to. Option to straighten out the legs here, finding a stretch in the hip flexors. Now, if there's any tension in the low back or pain, ease back out, back into bridge. Now, for the sake of time, we'll be moving through these last shapes in a timely fashion, but if you'd like to pause and stay in any of these shapes for longer, please do so. Just as they say, movement is medicine for the body, stillness is medicine for the mind. We don't often give ourselves the stillness and the quiet to reflect and turn inward. If the legs are outstretched, bend the knees, finding bridge. Inhale, lift the hips, remove your supports. Exhale, lower back down. Bring the knees into the chest. Option to gently rock side to side, getting the low back a nice little massage. Shoulder stand, a couple of options here. We can take a block, place it under our sacrum, and lift the legs towards the sky. Option to lift the shoulder stand, elbows tucked close to the body with a little bit of momentum. Lift the hips and catch the low back with your hands. Now in shoulder stand, we're bending through the shoulders and not through the neck, so I can still talk here. We don't have a big bend in the neck. We're standing on our shoulders. You might remember doing this as a kid. Really great inversion called the Queen of the Asanas for a reason. Option to find plow, bringing the toes towards the floor above your head. If you're in plow, option to clasp the hands, bringing the hands towards the mat. On your next exhale, gently come out of the asana, catching yourself with your hands, coming out in a slow, controlled way. Extending the legs, finding fish. Now we're going to slide the elbows up under the body. Option 2, find a block here for support. Option 2, let the head hang back, opening up through the chest and the neck. Coming forward, forward fold. Option to bend the knees in our forward fold, not imagining our head reaching the shins or our face reaching the shins, more so the top of the head reaching towards the toes. Inhale, sit up. Bend left knee, cross right ankle over left knee. Now you might need to play with the distance here. We're going to flex those right toes towards the right knee, feeling a stretch in the right. If we don't feel this stretch, we can come a little bit closer to that foot, seeing if that helps. Another variation is a traditional pigeon or a pigeon from the back. So whatever variation you're choosing today to stretch into the hips. Release that side. We're going to switch sides. Plant the right foot down. Cross left ankle over right knee. Flex left toes towards left knee. Finding your pigeon stretch. Also called newspaper or seated pigeon. Release that. And as you exhale, come down, finding your. In this final resting asana, you can find a traditional Savasana or anything that might feel good in the body. Maybe ending the class with a supine butterfly, feet in towards each other, knees splaying out. I like to use blocks to ease some of that tension. Hands on the body. Whatever final resting position you've chose, option 2, close down the eyes if that feels comfortable. Relax the temples, relax the forehead, the eyebrows, the jaw. Maybe lick the lips and swallow. Inhale in through the nose, belly expands. Sip at the top. Exhale, audible sigh out the mouth. Let it all go. One more just like that, in through the nose, belly expands. Biggest breath of the day. Fill up even more. Sip at the top. Is there any more? Exhale, let it all go. Any stress, any worries, any tension. Let your breath return to the natural rhythm, allowing your body to rest here in this stillness, this sacred time for you to connect within. Stay here for as long as you'd like, but if you're done practicing today, miigwech. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I'll see you on the mat next time.